What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of my R&B review. And I know it's been like a couple weeks. I've just been handling some stuff, but as I promised, I'm going to review "Off the Wall," Michael Jackson, his fifth studio album, released in 1979. But before I start, no, never mind. All right, 1979 on Epic Records. First album he did with Quincy Jones. Well, if you count some of the songs off the Wiz, the first time we worked on with Quincy Jones with the Wiz was, you guys know what I'm talking about. Singles I was known for are Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Rock With You, Off the Wall, She's Out of My Life, and Girlfriend. Before I start, I know a user was asking me if I would do a spit knowledge on what I think about Michael Jackson and Prince. That's coming soon. Stay tuned for that. The other way, I'm looking back to this. Okay, let's take it back to 1978. Michael Jackson was, Jackson 5 just released the Destiny album, classic album, in my opinion, one of my favorite albums from them. And so Michael Jackson, he scored the part of the Scarecrow on The Wiz, which you guys should know is basically a black version of Wizard of Oz. You know, the movie had Diana Ross, Nipsey Russell, Richard Pryor, things of that nature. So Quincy Jones was making the musical score, and Michael Jackson was a fan of Quincy Jones that he basically asked him to produce his own album. So yeah, that's how it started. So between 1978 and 1979, this album was released. Alright. And so this is really a departure because a lot of people think this is his first solo album. This is not his first solo album. Got to be there, which was released 8 years prior to this album, was his first solo album. And I will review Michael Jackson's Motown solo albums. Stay tuned for that later on this year. Cause like it's kind of like how Tina Turner was releasing solo albums when she was still under the Ike and Tina belt. So that's basically what I prefer those Motown albums to be, under the Jackson 5 belt. Although he was still part of Jackson's around this time, it was like a more grown up. He came on his own with this album. Basically, how to put it. All right. So, of course, Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson produced this album. Personnel: you got Randy Jackson on percussion, Michael Bodicker on keyboard synthesizers, Larry Carlton on electric guitar, George Duke on the keyboard synthesizer programming. You got David Foster on keyboard synthesizer programming. Like hella people were working on this album. Like Larry Williams on saxophone and flute, Wawa Watson on the guitar. Yeah, a lot of people working on this album, and I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. But Rod Temperton, he wrote a couple songs off this album. And if you guys don't know who Rod Temperton is, you guys have probably heard that name before. But he was the keyboardist and the main songwriter to Heatwave. Yes, Heatwave. Always and Forever, Groove Line, um, Mind Blowing Decisions. One of my favorite groups from like favorite bands from like the late '70s and stuff like that. Yeah, so he was working on him. He worked on Michael Jackson with this album, and of course Thriller, which I reviewed. I believe I did a couple of reviews on that. One 14 and one 2015, where I had to do review. Okay, now I'm gonna show you. Well, this is the album cover. Well, this is like one of the album covers. Cause you guys, the more famous album covers off the wall has like Michael Jackson, in like little bow tie, white shirt, like tuxedo kinda. This is like the other album where he's had like the glittery socks and things of that nature, so you can watch his feet move when he's dancing. Excuse me. Michael Jackson is chilling right there. Kind of reminds me of like a classic soul singer. And I've usually have lyrics to songs right here too. Michael performing. Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney right there. Paul McCartney actually, I'm gonna get into Paul McCartney in a minute. Yeah. All right. Okay. Now let me guess. 10 songs. Believe. Oh yeah, this is actually the 2001 special edition. And what's interesting about the special edition, excuse me, is that it also has interviews with Quincy Jones and a Rod Temperton interview. It has a few like demos and stuff like that. But I believe you can only unlock it through like a computer because yeah, you can only unlock it through a computer and stuff like that. All right, first song, "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough." I mean, do I even have to mention this song? This is like I think one of the first Michael Jackson songs I've heard. I love the disco funk kind of groove to it. You know what I'm saying? Very dope song. Nice way to start off the album. Track number two, "Rock With You." Um, Again, another classic Michael Jackson song right there. The original title of that song, believe it or not, from what I looked up, "I Want to Eat You Up." This is from what I looked up and stuff like that, and they decided to change it to "Rock With You" because come on, "I Want to Eat You Up." That sounds kind of eh, sounds kind of like laughable a little bit, but as they changed it because they wanted to fit something to fit Michael Jackson's image and stuff like that. And this was actually the first song Rod Temperton. This was the first song Rod Temperton wrote for Michael Jackson. Then we have all my Esham fans should know about that song too. Then we have "Working Day and Night." That song, was it's an okay, it's a disco-ish kind of song. And if you guys are damn, what is wrong with cameras? Alright. If you guys are a fan of like, if you have ever watching it, I'm sorry, my camera is just. If you guys have been watching my channel, you would have known how I feel about disco and things of that nature. And yeah, so that song was a pretty okay song. Not really one of my favorites, but eh. Track number four, "Get on the Floor." Now this is one song that grew on me. I love Michael's vocals on this. Get on the floor. I mean, that's like a very perfect sound from him. It's like it's still in a disco kind of trend, but at the same time, it's still you can still have like Michael Jackson's creation a little bit, if that makes sense. Track number five, "Off the Wall." Um, Another one of my favorite albums from this track. Basically, from this album, excuse me. Another one of my favorite tracks from this album. Um, it's just talking about how you have to live life the way you want to. Don't worry about life and things of that nature. Track number six, "Girlfriend." That was one song I don't really like. Don't get me wrong. Again, production on that song was good, but that was originally a Wings cover. And if you guys don't know who Wings are, they are Paul McCartney's group. The group he formed after the Beatles disbanded. I think 1971, 1972. Not correct me if I'm wrong. I never really liked it. I don't really fit the whole album. And so Michael was a fan of the Beatles, so he wanted to work with Paul McCartney too. So yeah, "Girlfriend." I mean, it's not like a song. It's not a skippable song, but it's like one of those songs where it's kind of like you wish it could have been like replaced with something else. So, but yeah. Track number 7, She's Out of My Life. One of the best songs, not only on this album, but in Michael Jackson's career, period. And you don't really hear like a lot of people talking about this song. Self-explanatory. He lost his lover and all that stuff. I love the emotion of Michael's singing. Like a true fact trivia about the song, he actually did a lot of crying when he was recording this song. And so basically they kept redoing and redoing it. Every time he redid it, he was crying, all that stuff. But also, I think it was Quincy said just let it be, because like it just shows like emotion in him. So that's why I love about this song. She's Out of My Life. Track number 8, I Can't Help It. My favorite song off this album. I mean, that's like one of those songs you listen to when you driving late at night. Like I love the whole groove to that song. I mean, Stevie Wonder, he wrote that song. You can definitely tell Stevie Wonder wrote it because those lyrics kind of sounds something like he would have done with songs in the key of life. Oh, another thing. There's actually a version where Stevie Wonder actually recorded the song. I'm gonna definitely put it on the description too. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And then we have It's the Falling in Love. I believe that's the song where Austin, she actually did background vocals on that song. And for the guys who don't know who Patty Austin is, she's a, of course she's an R&B singer, but she's like more famous when she did that one song with James Ingram, "Baby Come to Me," which like all my General Hospital fans should know about that song basically. Other than that, yeah, it's the Falling in Love, pretty cool track. Patty Austin, very underrated R&B singer if you ask me. And track number 10, Burn This Disco Out. That's where to close out the album. That's one of those disco tracks. And that's all the songs off this album. Uh, this is Michael Jackson's best album. And I'm gonna explain to you why, like right now, because this album, in my opinion, was Michael Jackson's coming of age. Like he definitely, he definitely like brought his whole emotion with this album. Now, don't get me wrong, Thriller is a very good album too, and that's like my second favorite MJ album. But when it comes to like quality, this album is just hella. Oh my god, this album is just amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like Quincy and Michael, chemistry wise, they were just doing their thing with this album. Like Quincy Jones' production, and that's another thing about Quincy Jones I've noticed. I've heard like a lot of people when they talk about Quincy Jones, they always talk about his stuff he did with Michael Jackson. Don't I love Quincy Jones, but like I've been a fan of Quincy for like the whole Smackwater Blues, Body Heat, stuff he did with like Bill Cosby, Frank Sinatra, um, where he dropped the Dude album, which is one of my favorite Quincy Jones albums. Back on the Block, very good album too from Quincy. I mean, people only like pigeonhole him as being in Michael Jackson's circle and stuff like that. Sorry about that. Yeah, they kind of like pigeonhole Quincy Jones as his work with Michael Jackson. It's like the only noteworthy thing you should hear from him, and that kind of like it just kind of makes me think about how people like to how can I put this? How can I put this? Associate an artist with another successful artist. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm explaining to you why I feel like Off the Wall is like my favorite album, and it's kind of like two segments of one: a spit knowledge and a review. So I've been watching a lot of interviews about Off the Wall on Vlad TV, like people from like Char- Charlemagne the God, Lord Jamar, and that Andrew Schultz dude. And I felt like Charlamagne, he said like how this album was like more quality wise. This album shits on Thriller. Like him and Lord Jamar kind of had like the same views on this album. Although like Lord Jamar kind of said that this was like his black album. Yeah, and in a way I kind of do agree. In a way I kind of do agree with that statement and stuff like that. And I kind of felt like this album, like I'm not trying to get like all racial, but a lot of African Americans kind of favor this album than Thriller because let's be real, Thriller it took like a slow rise for it to become as successful as it was because you gotta understand like he performed Billie Jean on Motown 25 and things of that nature. Plus his videos were now being shown on MTV, and at the time MTV was not playing like a lot of black music videos. It wasn't until like MJ then Prince came out, then Lionel Richie that they started playing more African American videos and stuff like that. So I kind of feel like people kind of consider like the how can I put this? How can I put this? MTV like more mainstream. They could position like more mainstream. They favor more mainstream quality over artistic quality. I'm not saying that this album was mainstream, but Thriller just broke the barriers to everything. I mean, he just broke the whole barriers. I mean, I'm telling you. And I love Thriller. I love After All. But I kind of like this album a tad bit better than Thriller. And I've noticed how a lot of artists, a lot of fans kind of say how this album is better because they're just doing it with mass appeal. And let me think of a prime example. Okay, Stevie Wonder. A lot of people say Songs in the Key of Life is his best album. Okay, I'm not knocking Songs in the Key of Life. I would never knock that album. Matter of fact, I'm going to do a review on that pretty soon. Stay tuned. But my opinion, I kind of feel like Talking Book and Innovations are a tad bit better than Songs in the Key of Life because like I feel like since it's a double disc album, people kind of consider Songs in the Key of Life more of a standard work for Stevie Wonder. And I remember one user on YouTube saying that Songs in the Key of Life was basically only album you should be listening to from Stevie. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, and you can tell because it's like more. Songs in the Key of Life has songs like "Isn't She Lovely," "I Wish," um, "Pastime Paradise," songs like that. But like Talking Book, "You Are the Sunshine to My Life," "You and I think Tuesday Heartbreak, Superstition. Wait, Superstition was that? Yeah, Superstition. That was on that album. The song that he did with Jeff Beck too. What was it? I think Maybe Your Baby. I think that was the one he did with Jeff Beck. I kind of felt like artistically, Stevie Wonder never really failed artistically, but Talking Book and Innovation were more standard albums from him. Another artist I kind of like feel like Mass Appeal kind of overcrowded the quality. This might be a very controversial pick, but I felt like Biggie, for example. Now, Life After Death, I did a review on that. Very good album, a classic, but Ready to Die shits on Life After Death. Because Life After Death had more filler, like had songs like Nasty, I think Nasty Boy, Another, um, what was that one song I cannot really stand? Player Hater, which I kind of felt that's an okay song, but you can tell it was Puffy's influence that made him do that song basically. Well, like Ready to Die was like banger after banger after banger, like things done changed. Give me the loot, warning, um, Ready to Die, What else? What else? Machine Gun Funk. Songs like that. Like he was just straight up hungry with that. And let me think of one more. Let me think of one more. Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Oh, another thing too. Like, there's like a lot of people who say Illmatic by Nas was like his only good album. And this is the thing that this is the thing hip hop heads always I laugh about hip hop heads when they do this. Like, don't get me wrong, Illmatic. You guys should know how I feel about that album. It's hip hop classic, definitely among the greatest in hip hop history. People think that's his best album, but they always shit on his next album. Like, wait, it was written. I Am, which I kind of feel that's an underrated album. Um, Stillmatic, Lost Taste. They shit on every other album. They praise Illmatic. Like, you ask any Nas fan, like, are you a fan of Nas? They be like, well, I just love Illmatic. I don't like his other stuff. And you be like, have you heard his other stuff? Be like, no. It's kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of feel like this album kind of suffered from mainstream attention of his next works. And I love a lot of almost every one of Michael Jackson's works. Like, stay tuned for my reviews on like all of his discography. But this is the album that really set it apart. You know what I'm saying? And so that's basically what I feel about this album. All right, and thank y'all for watching. Stay tuned for more reviews and all that stuff. Peace.